After the death of William Wallace, Robert the Bruce sought once and for all to claim the throne of Scotland.
But they'll never take our freedom.
I'm Robert the Bruce, your king.
What if the call for freedom echoed once more? In Braveheart 2, Mel Gibson repeats his iconic role as William Wallace, rallying a new generation to fight for their homeland. Get ready for a stirring sequel filled with passion, epic battles, and the spirit of rebellion. So what is Braveheart 2 all about? The film shifts its focus from William Wallace to another pivotal figure in Scotland's history, Robert the Bruce. Wallace's death, while tragic, became a rallying cry for the Scots, inspiring a new generation to take up arms against the English. Robert the Bruce, who had once been Wallace's rival for power, emerges as the hero of this chapter, taking up the cause of independence and continuing the fight. The movie follows his journey from a nobleman with conflicting loyalties to a leader determined to free Scotland from English rule. If you're wondering, does the movie pick up exactly where Braveheart left off? And the answer is both yes and no. It doesn't start the moment after Wallace's execution, but it definitely deals with the immediate aftermath. Bruce must decide whether to carry on Wallace's legacy or let the dream of a free Scotland die. This decision is complicated by the fact that Bruce, like many historical figures, wasn't always on the right side of things. At times, he cooperated with the English crown, but Wallace's death changed everything for him. Braveheart 2 digs into Bruce's transformation and his ultimate role in Scotland's fight for independence. The main conflict in Braveheart 2 centers on Scotland's continued resistance against English rule. After Wallace's death, many thought the fight for freedom was over, but as the movie shows, the Scots were far from defeated. Robert the Bruce becomes the key figure leading the charge, and his greatest challenge is uniting a divided Scotland. The English are still a hanging threat, but the internal fight among the Scottish nobles is just as dangerous. To win freedom, Bruce must not only face off against the English king, but also bring together his own people. And who better to guide us through this dramatic historical moment than Mel Gibson? Though Gibson isn't surprising his role as William Wallace, his presence is still felt strongly behind the scenes. As director, Gibson brings the same passion and intensity to Braveheart 2 that made the original film so memorable. He's always had a knack for telling stories about personal sacrifice and epic battles, and this time he's directing from a new angle. By focusing on Robert the Bruce, Gibson is able to explore what happens when one hero falls and another rises to take his place. Why was Braveheart 2 made now after such a long time? That's a question many fans have been asking. The original Braveheart left a lasting impact, not just as an action-packed historical epic, but also as a film that reignited interest in Scottish history worldwide. With themes of rebellion, freedom, and national identity, the movie spoke to audiences on a deep emotional level. It seems that the filmmakers behind Braveheart 2 saw a perfect moment to return to this world, especially given the political and social challenges we face today. The fight for independence, the clash between oppressor and oppressed, these are issues that resonate as much now as they did in medieval Scotland. Mel Gibson's decision to return to this project also speaks to his personal connection to the story. Braveheart was a career-defining moment for him, both as an actor and director. His portrayal of William Wallace was iconic, and his directional work earned him an Oscar. By coming back to this world, Gibson seems to be continuing a story that for him was never really over. Plus, Braveheart 2 gives him the chance to step back behind the camera and tell a new chapter in Scotland's history, this time focusing on Robert the Bruce, a character with just as much depth and complexity as Wallace. It's also worth asking, why are audiences still interested in this story almost 30 years later? Well, for one, people love a good historical epic. The original Braveheart wasn't just about William Wallace. It was about the universal struggle for freedom, the human desire for justice, and the willingness to fight for what you believe in. Those themes never get old, And now, with Braveheart 2, audiences have a chance to see how that struggle continued after Wallace's death. The story of Robert the Bruce is equally compelling because it's about a man who wasn't perfect, who made mistakes, but who ultimately rose to the occasion when his country needed him most. A key question for Braveheart 2 is how it handles historical accuracy. While the original faced criticism for bending the facts, many viewers valued its spirit. In this sequel, filmmakers aim for a better balance, focusing on post-Wallace Scotland and the intricate dynamics of Robert the Bruce. From what we know, the filmmakers did their homework this time around. Mel Gibson and the production team consulted with historians and experts to ensure the authenticity of the film's setting, costumes, and battles. This attention to detail extends to the way they portrayed the key events of the period, including the famous Battle of Bannockburn, where Bruce led his forces to a decisive victory against the English. While the movie will undoubtedly include some creative embellishments, it seems they've made a real effort to stay true to the spirit of Scotland's fight for independence. The historical timeline of Braveheart 2 picks up shortly after William Wallace's death in 1305. The focus then shifts to the next phase of Scotland's wars of independence, particularly the years leading up to and following Robert the Bruce's coronation as King of Scots in 1306. One of the film's central events is the Battle of Bannockburn, fought in 1314, which was a turning point in the war. The Scots, led by Bruce, achieved a significant victory over the English, securing Bruce's status as a national hero and pushing Scotland closer to independence. The period of Scottish history is filled with tension, betrayal, and high-stakes battle, and Braveheart 2 promises to bring all of that drama to the big screen. It's a story about perseverance, not just for Bruce, but for an entire nation that refused to give up, even when the odds seemed impossible. Scotland's fight for independence didn't officially end until 1328 with the Treaty of Edinburgh-Northampton, and Braveheart 2 sets the stage for the key moments that helped make that eventual victory possible. The action in Braveheart 2 takes place primarily in Scotland, just like the original film. The sweeping landscapes, rolling hills, and historic battlefields that made the first movie so visually stunning are sure to return, providing a backdrop that's as much a character in the story as the people themselves. The battle will be grand, but so too will the quieter moments where Robert the Bruce wrestles with his decisions and the heavy weight of leadership. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our latest updates going forward. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys next time.